Howdy, gang, and welcome once again to the Duct Tape Studios. I'm Jeff McAleer, your host, here at the Gaming Gang channel. Thanks for joining me once again. Today, I am going to unbox and take a first look at the Walking Dead universe role-playing starter set from Free League Publishing. This is written by Nils Heinz, Matthias Johansson Hockey, and Thomas Harmstad, with artwork provided by Martin Grip and Gustav Ekelund. And I apologize, I guarantee I've mispronounced at least one of those names. This box set with PDF carries an MSRP of $39.99, or you can grab just the PDF alone over at DriveThruRPG as I record this for the rocking price of $9.99. All that said, let's swing on over to the other camera because here I've got the Walking Dead universe role-playing starter set. Before we jump on in, do want to mention my friends over at Free League Publishing were kind enough to provide me with this review copy. But neither I nor anyone else affiliated with the Gaming Gang has received any other sort of compensation for me to share this coverage with you. These days, it's very important that you know that. We're also not going to look at each and every page of the books inside this starter set, but I do want to give you a very good feel for what's in this box. Should also mention, I believe there is an introductory adventure. So if you are a player and your game master has picked up the starter set, or maybe they're about to pick up the starter set, by all means, as a player, I recommend tune out when I start looking at the adventure. Even though I know nothing about it, there are going to be some spoilers simply from us paging through. But of course, having said that, by all means, if your game master is considering picking up this starter set, let them know about this video so they can approach this and make a more informed buying decision. All right, let's get the shrink wrap off. I have to say, I have really been looking forward to checking out the Walking Dead universe. Because, in my opinion, and once again, this is just my opinion, I don't know if there's really been an excellent zombie role-playing game that has ever come out. Now, I know a lot of people are very fond of All Flesh Must Be Eaten. I've never really dug into it, so I can't really tell you. But as far as zombie role-playing games, I've never run across one that really, really does it for me. And knowing the great role-playing releases that Free League Publishing has put out, I think this might turn out to be it. This is the starter set for the official The Walking Dead universe role-playing game. In this game, you will play as people struggling to survive in an unforgiving world. Exceptional challenges can appear from anywhere, from the lack of essential supplies, from conflicts brewing within the group, from hidden construction flaws in your safe haven, or from approaching walkers hungering for your flesh. Fight the dead, fear the living. And it's going to tell us exactly what we've got in this starter set. I'm not going to read that because I'm going to open this up and we're going to take a peek inside. So first off, we've got lots of dice. Looks like we've got a couple of sets of 6-sided dice. These are cut dice, I can tell you that much. And the Walking Dead universe does use Free League Publishing's Year Zero engine. So if you are familiar with that, it should be pretty easy for you to segue right on into this role-playing game. Looks like we've got a threat meter. So it is a dial that we will be putting together. Got a little catalog of the latest releases from Free League. Believe we've got some pre-generated characters. Take those out. We've got maps and a couple of booklets. So let's look at the booklets first. In fact, this is the scenario. I will save that for last. So if you're a player, you can hang out, watch a little more of this video before I get to this point. So first of all, we've got the rules. And if the other starter sets that Free League Publishing has released over the years are any indicator, this should be a pretty well-presented starter set. So we've got our introduction. So it says this starter set contains 2 booklets. The one you're reading right now introduces a selection of game rules focused on what you need for the survival scenario, The Wolf's Den, which you will find in the second booklet. Adding to that, the box set includes 10 base dice and as many stress dice, a threat meter, 3 maps of adventure locations, and 10 pre-generated player characters. So we have a couple of game modes. We've got survival mode, which, like the Wolf's Den, are often finished in 1 or 2 sessions. Then we have campaign mode, which I'm going to take a guess we'll see more of that in the core rulebook, which I will be sharing a first look at tomorrow. And you play several sessions that together form a longer story. All right, so the world of the dead, talking about the outbreak, walkers, the player characters. So our attributes are strength, agility, wits, and empathy. We will have some skills. Normally with the Year Zero engine, we don't have loads and loads of skills. We have just a handful of skills, and they tend to be pretty broad. So talking about using skills. So normally, I will take a guess. These are our standard dice. So normally with the Year Zero engine, you're going to have a dice pool. Now, it might only be a couple. You might have more than a couple. It might only be one. And what you're looking to do is you're looking to roll a 6 on a 6-sided die. And it appears here we have got a bullseye for the 6 on these. So what you'll do is when you have a test, a challenge that you need to roll dice to see if you succeed or fail, you're going to roll your dice pool and you're looking for successes. Ooh, look at that. I got a couple of successes. Now, we do show that we do have some modifiers which will add additional dice to your pool. So that's how that works. And then, of course, we have failed tests. So we're going to get into a bit of discussion about that as well. We also have stress dice, which, if you are familiar with the fantastic Alien, the role-playing game from Free League Publishing, they use something along those lines as well, which is similar. Frightening, dangerous, or tense situations in the game can cause your character to suffer stress in the form of stress points. As described above, so we can push rolls, which is the section here, you can take 1 stress point every time you push a skill roll. You never take more than 1 stress point at a time, no matter how stressful a situation is. The stress factors table indicates typical situations that will lead to you taking stress. For each stress point you've accumulated, you add 1 stress die to any skill roll you make. This is not optional. Stress makes you more focused and more inclined to succeed. But what ends up happening is, because you're suffering from stress, when you fail, you're more likely to make mistakes. So the stress dice, which are going to be these red dice, is what I'm going to guess, are also going to show the bullseye on the 6. So rolling stress dice can actually increase your probability of succeeding. But let's see what the 1 has. There you go. So on the 1, we get a hand, which means bad news. So here we've got a section talking about messing up. So here we have our skill list, and normally there's about a dozen skills in many of the Year Zero engine role-playing games, and it looks like we've got about a dozen. Close combat, endure, force, mobility, ranged combat, stealth, scout, survival, tech, medicine, manipulation, and leadership. It's also going to show us what attribute is tied into that skill. So as an example, for leadership, it is empathy. Here it says manipulation is not mind control. It's like we're going to get into combat. So we have duels and brawls, damage and healing. Everybody gets 3 health points, I believe. Critical injuries. We've got a critical injury table here, ranging from winded to an impaled heart, and you die. So combat should be pretty lethal in the Walking Dead universe. Get gear, threat levels, single walker attacks, fighting a swarm of walkers, clearing out an area. It's like we've got a random table here for walker attacks. People will die all the time in this game, both player characters and NPCs. This seems to indicate that lives are cheap, and you, as a GM, should treat NPCs as pawns in a chess game. But they aren't, and you shouldn't. The PC's lives and the lives of all humans are the only thing left in the world of the dead. Every fallen friend should be a tragedy and a reason to take revenge. Make the NPCs likable. Give them backstories. Give the PCs a reason to interact with them. So it looks like we've got 28 pages of rules. Then we've got our index, and that is our rule book. Let's take a look at our pre-generated characters. Looks like we have 6. And then it looks like we also have dossiers for them. And it looks like we also have pre-gens of characters from The Walking Dead. So here we've got the pre-gens. Looks like there's a section on the character sheet for archetypes. Those are probably going to be located in the core rulebook, because one thing that starter sets usually don't contain, now this isn't every starter set, but most starter sets do not contain character creation rules. So here we've got Cecil or Cecilia Hart. They are a group leader. Lisa Harley. Terry Lee. And here it says Bonnie/Rooster Coates. So it looks like we've got a couple of these on each sheet. No, hang on. Here's Terry Lee. Is this a misprint? Didn't I just see it, Terry Lee? Was it on here? No, I'm wrong. Sorry about that. This was flipping the wrong page, I guess. For a second, I was like, wait a second. We have one character on one side of the sheet and another character on another? No, that's not the case. Blossom or Solomon Singh. And Ali or Isaac Ibrahim. So these are the pre-gens. And then we've got some characters, it looks like, from the show, because there's Carol. There's Glenn. Michonne. And Gabriel. Wow, no Rick. That's pretty wild. Cool. So those are the pre-generated characters from the show. So we've got 4 of those. It's like we've got a map here. Is this going to be the Atlanta area? Yes, Northeast Georgia. So this is 4 panels here. Going to give you a look at this. And Southwest Virginia. Nice material on these maps. They are paper, but they are treated and pretty thick. So these should hold up pretty nicely. Looks like we've got some combat encounter maps as well. So looks like that might be a farm or a small safe zone. So we've got that single-sided on that one. We've got an area with a road running through it, also single-sided, and another area which has train tracks running through it. I would take a stab that these are encounter locations in that scenario book, which is what we will look at right now. So let me get these back out of the way so I can get back to, I think it's called the Wolf's Den. Yes, the Wolf's Den. So this is the adventure. If you are a player, I'd recommend tune out now. A couple of months ago, a new member was taken into the PC's group, Matthew Green. He quickly fell in love with Rebecca Lee, who had been a member of the group since the outbreak. She is a mother of the PC Terry Lee, and the partner of the group's leader, Cecil, or Cecilia Hart. Rebecca soon felt tempted by Matthew's charms and began to meet in secret to carry out their affair. 2 days ago, they were found out. In a violent rage, Cecil/Cecilia promised to kill Matthew if he did not leave the haven. That night, Matthew and Rebecca packed one of the group's 2 cars full of food, water, and medical supplies, stole the group's only 2 rifles, and snuck away, driving deeper into the Blue Ridge region to find a new home. So does this mean the player characters are going to try to track them down? I'm taking a guess that those 2 NPCs took off, and I betcha they've been abducted by another group, probably the baddies. Because the reality is, the Walking Dead are not the zombies. The Walking Dead are the humans. And if you are familiar with the comic book and the TV show, you already know that. So here we go. The Wolves. So that is the other group. So it's the Haven of Evergreen. So that was the other map that we were looking at. Oh, there you go. Right there, Evergreen. So we have keyed locations. So those other maps are for the players. And then we've got stat blocks for the various different wolves. And as you can see, not real big, detailed stat blocks, very easy for game masters to utilize during gameplay. You don't have to have multiple pages. And then here we've got ending the scenario, saying that it can end in many ways. The PCs might rescue Matthew and or Rebecca, but do they want to come back? Question mark. All right. Very nice. So that is the scenario. So we've got the scenario. We've got the pre-gens. We've got the various different combat encounter maps. Kind of a tight squeeze with those. And we also have our rule book, as well as loads of custom 6-sided dice and our threat meter. And that's what we find when we take everything from the Walking Dead universe role-playing starter set outside the box. Of course, I will have a review of this starter set in the very near future. Once again, the Walking Dead starter set is available right now. Carries an MSRP of $39.99. You can get the PDF with that as well if you order that from Free League Publishing. And you can score the PDF over at DriveThruRPG currently for the rocking price of $9.99. Of course, be sure to tune in tomorrow because I am going to take a look at the Walking Dead Universe core rulebook, also from Free League Publishing. That is it for this time out. If you like the video, by all means, please give it a quick thumbs up. Subscribe to the Gaming Gang channel if you haven't already. And if you do subscribe, ring that bell because it'll not only let you know when I share videos such as this first look, as you hear all the dice jumbling around, it'll also inform you when my live stream, the Gaming Gang Dispatch, airs Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday evenings right here on YouTube at 7 p.m. Central. And of course, when you're not watching videos on the Gaming Gang channel, be sure to visit thegaminggang.com for all latest in tabletop gaming news, reviews, and a whole lot more you will not find here on the YouTube channel. You know the drill. Get your geek on at thegaminggang.com. Thank you very much for watching. Once again, I'm Jeff McAleer, and until I see you next time, I certainly hope all of you get to enjoy plenty of great gaming with your gang.